Hi, I'm Bryson Moore, and I work for the Soderquist Center for Leadership and Ethics. And I want to talk to you today about something that we at the center feel very strongly about, and it's the idea of values in business. Values are basically principles that help guide our decisions and our behavior. Our founder, Don Soderquist, is a retired chief operating officer of Walmart, very successful business person. He describes values like fences. And if you think about, picture a playground in your mind, and this playground is right next to a street, a busy street with lots of oncoming traffic. And the fences that are around that playground are there to help keep us from running out into the middle of the street where we might get hit head on by oncoming traffic. That's what values do for us in business. They help us make good decisions so we're not running out into the street. How do you not get to that place? Well, organizations of all kinds have different types of values. Some of them have traditional values like honesty, integrity, financial discipline. Others have kind of unique and even quirky values, like Zappos.com, for example. This is a $1 billion company, and one of their values is to create fun and a little weirdness. I know that sounds really strange, but part of their culture is to be fun. And that's how they instill that. And so even on a job interview, their candidates are asked, on a scale of 1 to 10, how weird are you? I mean, I don't know. I've never been asked that on a job interview, but I think it's a great indication of how they are committed to those values. I want to show you another story of a company that really wrestled with their core values, and it helped them make some decisions that are affecting their business in a really positive way. And then after this, we're going to come back and I'm going to talk about the 3 ways that you can implement a system of core values at your company.
My name's Mary Jane Brewer, and I work for a company called Park Management. And my position there is Senior Vice President of Team Development and Compliance. And we're a company that owns and operates theme parks and water parks. We decided to make our values fit within the acronym of our company name, which is PARC, P-A-R-C. So our values were people first, always safe, remember it's fun, and commit to excellence. And those really define how we do business and what we want our business to be all about. So I want to tell you about a time when our core values were really tested in a real life business decision that we had to make. We had acquired a theme park from a previous operator, and we had to make the decision about whether we're going to operate it the same way that they had in the past or whether we were going to do things in a different way. When we opened the park for the first full operating season of our ownership and of the park, we decided that we weren't going to open all of the rides, all of the amusement rides in the park. And the reason was because we felt like we needed to do some more work on those rides, and we felt like we needed to do that for safety purposes and for quality purposes. So we took the core value, or one of our core values, which is always safe, and we applied it in that situation. And we felt like it was because we had made a commitment to safety through our core values that was really the right thing to do in that situation. And what happened was, during the course of the season, we really took a hit in the community from a public relations standpoint, because people did not understand why just the previous season all of the rides in the park could be open up and operating under the previous ownership, and then under our ownership, half of the rides could be closed for most of the season. And that was a real challenge for us, because we really felt like, we were doing the right thing, but our guests felt like we were somewhat doing a disservice to them because we didn't have the entire park open. At the end of the summer, we ended up having all of our rides except for one up and running, and we had a big celebration, and it was a great accomplishment for us because it was such a huge task and such a huge project for us. So it really was a test of our core values, and we really felt like we came out of that experience with a much better perspective on why we have core values in the first place.
If you're on board with this values idea, here are 3 really practical, simple ways that you can get started. Number 1, start writing them down. Write them down on a whiteboard, write them down on a sheet of paper. Anything you want. These are your values, so they can be unique, they can be a little weird if you want, but the important thing is to write them down. And then try to narrow them down to like 3 or 5 core values. Next, take those values and talk about what kind of behavior you want to have based on those. So, for example, like if one of your values is honesty, maybe a behavior is that you're always going to give people honest feedback. Then the next thing is just to create some visual reminders of those values. At the Soderquist Center, we have a coin that has our values listed on it. We carry it around with us. Some companies put them on their shirts. Some companies paint them on their walls. Whatever you want to do, just make them visual. Once you do this, over the long haul, this is going to help your company make good decisions and drive you in the direction that you want to go. So, if you do this, if you clarify your values, talk about behaviors, and create some reminders, I guarantee you it's going to be worth your time.